Everything we do, we pray we be careful to give your name the glory, your name the honor, and your name the praise. For it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. All right. Can I get a motion? Do we have enough, right?
Yeah.
We got 4 here. Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. And approval of the minutes for November 8th.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
I second.
All those in favor? Aye. I've been a little busy. It's always a joy to represent the city of Dillon, and been pretty busy with that. We had the parade, which I thought was, I just couldn't believe the number of people that showed up at the parade. We had a Christmas tree lighting, and I don't know, I think there were 400, 450, 500 people there. And, you know, you had the snow, and it was really good. Also, and I don't know, this is a city of Dillon activity, but I was at the Dillon High School game and in Camden, and we didn't win, but we were the better team, and we showed a ton more class. We should be proud that we have a good football team like that also a good kids. Went to the fire department party Saturday night. I don't know how many people they expected, but they looked like they had a good crowd, and I know they had a good time. And I thanked them. I just finished watching the news about the Mayfield, Kentucky thing and how tragic that was. And I just told them I was thankful because I knew we were in good hands. God forbid something bad like that happens to us. So Keith got his 30-year pen. You pretty old. But attended a downtown development meeting, and I'm just excited about that group. I think there's some real energy. It's all new to me, and as far as it goes, but we've got some people showing some interest downtown. Got some people showing some interest in our buildings. I think it's just going to take one good, solid investment, a significant investment, and I think it'll start blossoming down there. We're moving forward, with the city and our part of that. Got a ribbon cutting at First Bank Thursday night, so they're finally done. They've been open for a while. And just a quick update on COVID. We are having a little burst of COVID. The good thing is for the most part, if you've been vaccinated, it's not too severe. I think the variant now is not quite as deadly, equally as contagious, and it's not as deadly if you don't have significant comorbidities, diseases, kidney failure, and things like that. It seems to have a little more GI side effect to it, and but if you're on a delicate balance with heart failure and chronic kidney disease, and even if you've been vaccinated, probably it's not a bad thing to just kind of stay out of big crowds and be careful. Other than that, that's about all I have. So I don't reckon we have a city manager's report. Glenn's wife's father passed away, and they're in Buford, kind of tying things up there. And his funeral, I think, will be late this week, early next week. So we'll go on from there. Janet, can you do our finance report?
All right, the general fund, we have a total in our cash accounts, $2,263,247. And our revenues, we brought in $390,522 more in 2020, and that is due to the local option timing, the funds that we get there.
Just
On that, so that's what that is. And then on the expenses, we have $58,951 we spent more in 2020 than we did in 21. And I had taken out the sanitation truck that we purchased out of those numbers. The next one is the stormwater. We have $163,343 in the account. I did not do any comparison because our revenues hit in December instead of November, so I didn't compare that. Our difference in our expenses was $69,014 more in 21 than we was in 2020. We are just about to finish up on that FEMA mitigation, where I can get the money, our funds back on that. So we're working on that. Water and sewer, our non-restricted accounts, $2,023,060. Our restricted accounts is $2,230,830. Our revenues, we brought in $212,267 more in 21 than we did in 2020, and I subtracted out the grant revenue on that. Our expenses.
So that's increased use, but also we had a little adjustment. But that adjustment couldn't have been, there's more use there, isn't it? Maybe Purdue is, do you have an explanation of that?
I have to go back
That's all right.
and look.
It's a plus.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Our expenses was $121,440 more in 2020 than in 2021. That being, we haven't done a lot of pumps or repairs that we've had to do that we did in 2020. And the golf course.
The net $330-some thousand to the good in water and sewage. That's good.
So the golf course, our cash account's $37,246. Our revenues in 21 versus 20 was $6,715 more in 21. We transferred only $15,000 today.
Let me ask you this: at this point last year, we had transferred about $15,000 a month, correct?
Last year, let's see if I got that one.
It seemed
We
like
had transferred $60,000.
by this time last year.
That's correct.
Okay, so basically, we're looking at maybe an improvement of about 51,000 in revenues, because we haven't, because that goes down as revenue. That 15,000 transfer is considered a revenue, correct?
I always take that out. Because it's a transfer of funds. It's basically.
Okay, but when you look at the budget, it is counted as a revenue. What I'm saying is that the course has just been tremendously more busy this year than last year. And it's just kind of surprising that there's year-to-date, it's only $6,700. That was my only point. I thought that.
Usually I just say it's a transfer of funds, but we do put that in the budget.
Right.
And it does fall under the revenue side of it.
So last year, just the collections at the golf course was $112,000 at this point.
That's correct.
And now it's 118, so, okay, all right, that's good.
Okay, the expenses, was $35,983 more in 2020 than in 21. That was due to pump repairs and replacements. There, okay. Our 2% hospitality tax, we got $1,090,328. Our revenues was $21,116 more in 21 than in 2020.
Did all of our hot food restaurants report this month? Did all of our hot food restaurants report to the 2% hot food?
I'm quite sure they did. I hadn't looked at it, but quite sure they do. We'll keep our list and make sure we go down and call it if they have a statement.
Well, Zaxby's didn't open until December. I think it was the week, maybe they had 2 or 3 days.
They will report in January.
Okay,
Yeah.
they, I think it was like the Monday after Thanksgiving that they opened. So there's only 2 or 3 days that you'll have there, but that line's been wrapped around them.
In January, we'll make our payment on the Wellness Center, and that'll drop us down to 3 years left.
Yeah.
And then our American Rescue Plan, just to let you know, we've got $1,342,091 left in it.
I wonder if, we're going to talk in a minute about demolition. What if we could use some of that money to do demolition?
I think infrastructure and stuff like that, I think is what you can use that for.
Kind of clean it before you can make it.
How are we doing as far as the demolition? Are we actually doing 1 or 2 a month? As far as in the residential side, how are we coming along with that?
I think we had, for this year, we demolished at least probably about 13 or 15 structures. And they're throughout the year because it basically depends on when the owner signs for the certification letter. That's when the process normally starts. Sometimes the owners don't sign for the letter. Letters come back to us and we just start the process over again. So, I think we demolished at least 13, if not more than that this year.
How many would you say is on the list still? How many? Is there a bunch? Is it just that you can't get
I would
control?
say, yeah, there's, because of the DHEC rule, we can only tear one house per block per year.
Yeah, I don't think we're under that umbrella anymore. I think we need to go back and revisit that because we're always going to have a lag of 25, 30. And all these other towns, they're tearing them down left and right. And I understand we got in a little big trouble with that, but that's been many years ago now. So I think we need to revisit that with DHEC or whatever we need to do so we can start getting this list down to a minimum.
I could mention it to Glenn, and I know Glenn keeps up with it. I'll mention it to him and get back in contact.
Especially the buildings uptown, I guess, I'm pretty sure the DCA would support me on this and trying to get these buildings torn down as much as we can. I mean, they're trying to do something. We need to try to help them on that aspect. So we need to really look at that. That's been a long time now. I think we can get around that now.
I'll let you know.
All right, citizens report. Now this will serve as a public hearing on resolution 2119, which we're going to bring up later. And this basically is a pass-through, correct, on the some of the funding and who controls those funds over the junior high school project, correct? Help me with that. I'm probably not wording it correctly, but
I haven't really been involved much in that one, but probably not. Yeah.
this is the renovation of the J.D. Martin.
Or they were putting apartments and stuff.
Correct. And are y'all here for that? And is there anything else, any other official thing that I need to say about this so that you're not delayed?
No, not at all. I gave the city clerk the newspaper affidavit that they ran the ad.
Right.
Gave a full description of everything in that. And so, yeah, I think that's adequate.
Okay. Anybody like to speak on this subject?
I would just like to know, Dr. Wallace, what's the time frame of starting to work on this and getting things rolling with it?
Hi there, I'm Tanya Haddock. I'm with the development team on this project. We are, if everything goes well at the January meeting with SFAA, we anticipate within 90 days we would need to close and begin construction. So we've been held up a little bit in the state side of things.
I wasn't here at the meeting we talked about partnering with our police officers. I don't know if you had anything to do with this or not, but are we getting a good relationship here with the city as far as trying to work with y'all and maybe get some police officers to stay there to help?
I think so. There's, I would need to double check into that. I know there's been a few changes.
Okay.
But we definitely have a substation built into the project. So we would like to have police eyes within the building itself, so.
I think he was referring to a living there, right?
Yeah, living there.
Yeah.
Yes. And I, again, would need to speak with my partner on that. I know that there was a lot of discussion as to how we wanted to proceed with those 2 units.
And who's eligible to have these apartments?
Those who are age 62 and older. So it's designed.
Be an old policeman.
Well, if we do for the police officers, that would be separate from the apartments themselves. It would be considered a separate entity. But no, the 37 units are for those 62 and older.
Are they taking applications for those now?
We will probably start taking applications, I would say, about this time next year.
Where would they apply for those at?
We will have a management company that will set up a sign, and but we'll start a list now if you want. If there are people that want to reach out to us and be put on a waiting list.
Well, I had a couple of people ask me about it. They live, well, one lady lives in Florence. She wanted to move back to Dillon. And I think one lady lived in Dillon, but it was her nephew or something like that. All of them over 60 something. So they wanted to move back to Dillon. So.
Well, please have the city manager or someone email their contact info, and be happy to put them on a list.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
What is the income threshold?
So the income threshold, I believe, is 21,000 is the maximum for one person. So it would be more if there were two, and I'm sorry, I don't have the numbers with me at the moment. But 21,000 is the, for one person.
All right, any other questions? Thank you. All right, any other citizens report? Anyone else? Okay, old business, ordinance number 21-15, adopt a model business license ordinance in accordance with the Business License Standardization Act, 2020 Act number 176. This is a second reading. Basically, this is in compliance with the state. Can I get a motion?
Make a motion.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right. Ordinance 21-16, repeal of existing provisions within Title VII, licensing and regulation. Chapter 1, business license, Section 7-1-6C of the City Code of Dillon Ordinance, second reading. This is basically repealing that you can continue to do business while you are being, while you do not have a business license, but your business license is an appeal. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And then ordinance 21-17, second reading, annexation of the tract of land located within the 1600 block of Highway 301 North. Can I get a motion?
Make a motion.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. All right, new business, resolution number 19-21, approving the issuance by the Housing Authority of the City of Florence of its multifamily housing revenue bonds, the Dillon Grade School Apartments. Basically, this is what we were talking about, 21-19. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? All right, resolution 20-21, purchase certain property located at 1008 Railroad Avenue owned by ERT of Dillon. Can I get a motion?
I make a motion.
Second? Second. All those in favor? Aye. Basically, this is that property right behind the First Bank building, and we approved the outlay of $95,000, and they did accept that. You know, my own opinion, we paid more money than we needed to, but it's worth a lot more to us than it is anyone else, and I reckon they knew that. So I think it'll be a valuable property. We'll cut out all this, you know, once we renovate it, and I think we'll get funds to renovate it. So maybe put bathrooms in there for those downtown events. We seem to be having more and more of them, and they're good, and we're thankful. So that's what that is about. Resolution number 21-21, resolution regarding restoring 9 buildings located on Martin Luther King Boulevard. Do you know anything about this?
You know about it, Tim?
Ms. Tanya is going to speak about that.
Yes, so what we're asking for.
Is this a part of your project?
It is.
Okay.
It is. One of the funding sources that we have is use of the abandoned building tax credit through South Carolina law.
Oh, okay.
And that requires us to identify each floor as individual parcels.
Okay. Can I get a motion?
I make a motion.
Second? Aye. Favor? Aye. Opposed? All right. All right, resolution 22-21, retail recruitment.
Can somebody enlighten me about this?
Yeah, I
Ms.
need
Lisa's
that.
going to speak about that.
Okay.
So the Municipal Association of South Carolina is hosting this recruitment training. And it is a 3-day program, and what it actually helps you with is the mix of retail options in the city or town has a profound impact on the community's vitality, ability to attract new residents and businesses, and the ability to retain the people and enterprises that are already here. This particular training helps cities and towns navigate the world of trying to recruit retails to come in and to stay here with us. And the training is actually led by a group called the Retail Coach. It's a national market research and development firm. The course will include 3 days of training in Columbia, 1 in January, February, and March. And then we will eventually go to the Recon Convention where we interact with retailers and commercial real estate firms and contractors, hoping to try to bring some businesses into downtown. This does actually include a professional market analysis, so it'll give us some insight as to who we should be looking for and how we can retain them and keep them as well. So although it is a $5,000 cost for the training, it does include this market analysis. And Glenn has informed me that the funds for the course would come from the general fund of the hospitality fund for this particular course. When I was in Columbia this afternoon at the South Carolina Main Street, it was kind of like a board meeting of sorts, we had 3 people that had just returned from the Las Vegas convention after the 3-day training, and they felt it was hugely beneficial. And at this point in our revitalization efforts, I think any kind of training you can get from me is going to be helpful to help with this. And market analysis is a huge undertaking, and they meet with me one-on-one and look at all the demographics that we have here to actually pull this report together. So it'll give us a good tool for me and the DCA and the real estate agents that we have in town to help bring some people into downtown.
Ms. Lisa, are you talking to anybody with the benchmark planning that came in and done a big overview of how they want to do our main street and how we can, enhance it?
Well, each month we get together with the downtown master plan committee. It comprises of 3 of the council, 3 DCA, myself, and Glenn. So each month we meet to talk about that. The first meeting that I attended when I first moved here, stabilization has been identified as probably our first key point. as well as streetscaping eventually with the paving coming up in, I think, 2022 with DOT. So yeah, each month we meet, we're talking about funds from the CARE Act right now, and we are making some headway. I feel very comfortable what's going on with those meetings.
Well, are you talking about, because I think the DCA was in favor of this, having the big arch as you go into the side plaza? You recall that, Stephanie?
Yes,
Go ahead.
I sent a grant request off, earlier this month, I can't remember which day, for, requesting $1.25 million to complete, not all of the projects in that benchmark, because some of those are like really not for us, even though they're pretty, but some of them, because, we'll have to do it in phases, and, yeah.
Do y'all have a priority list? Is the arch one of your priorities?
We are,
Italian
that,
rink was-
yes, it is. We're trying by the end of next year, we're trying to get something physical that, so that the citizens can see that DCA is working to do things. But it does take time to get, one, find some worker to do it, and two, get the quotes and everything for it and raise the money.
But we have talked about the metal signage and then the stamp on the ground, like a die lot of our logo there. Some murals are being talked about as well right now. I'm meeting with several different artists over the next few days. Marion has an amazing mural. We've already met with that artist, and then the artist that lives in Myrtle Beach that did the Conway train. We're meeting with him also, just to get some different ideas and feels. And why have one mural when we can have 3 or 4? We got lots of opportunities.
What's your locations of putting the murals? Do you have?
Well, we're, the Cower building was one of them, right on 301. That was the original one. Steve Johnson's building would be a great option. It's going into that alleyway that everybody wants to try to make something of back in the back. Todd Davis's building is a possibility. And then also the new building that we've just approved to purchase tonight that's going to officially or eventually be the farmer's market in that backfield would be a great place for a nice mural. I've also reached out to, is it Family Dollar that's here? Family Dollar. Their side of the building would be a great location for a train mural or something, because when the train passengers are coming in, they'll see that. I'm just trying to get to the right person to talk to with the corporate office. So we've got 4 or 5 locations that could possibly be great murals.
You look at our signage, welcome to Dillon signage, it's not very impressive. Nowhere is impressive, and,
I requested funding for that in that
Yeah.
grant I wrote specifically, yes.
yeah. I mean, the one they fixed the one right now on Johnson Drive, and it looks a lot nicer and it's clean and all that, but it's a piece of lattice with some signs on it and a little flower bed. And,
So the grants that you wrote, Stephanie, are they going to help pay for the murals that y'all trying to?
We did not request murals in that grant, because there are separate mural grants that you can apply for individually.
If it's
Now,
something
I'm not
that
gonna say that they
Yeah, something
won't
that
allow us to use the money, but
Do you have a cost of what it would be?
Right now, we just started meeting with people. The gentleman, Wayne, from Florence, his mural for Marion was approximately $5,000. The gentleman that does the artwork for Conway is going to be substantially more than that, but I don't know yet. It's typically $10 to $30 a square inch, depending on how large of a piece of property you want to cover.
What I would like to do for us, Mr. Lissard, for me, I'm not speaking for the rest of the council, but bring us back a call so we don't have to, keep writing the grants. But we can go ahead and get a jump start and get something going to enhance our little town. I mean, we need this back.
Well, I had, the idea right now is to present to you several options to choose from, but I woke up in the middle of the night and I'm like, well, why have one? Let's have a couple or 3. I'd love to see 2 or 3 artists painting at the same time in different places. I think that would be a great attraction to see that bloom with different artists. Why just choose one? There's so many that are talented and do different kinds of things. But it's just in the beginning stages, and I look forward to whatever we're going to get up on the wall. I'm really hopeful for the Family General, Dollar General wall, that big one that's right there. It doesn't need any work on it. The bricks are pristine. A lot of the other buildings, because they're older and they've been painted, will have to have some sort of work done prior to, or either put on some sort of long-term boards that can attach and be moved. So there's a lot of beginning looks into this, but I think it'll be a nice enhancement to us downtown.
Thank you, Liz. All right, resolution 22-21. Can I get a motion?
I make a motion.
Second? I'll second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, appointment of the Board of Architects Review. I've had a request, and man, I'm sorry, not everybody on the council knew that this was getting ready to happen, and he had someone that he wants to, have an opportunity to talk to the council. Listen, it's hard to get people to do this, and we appreciate you being willing, but I think in all fairness, this, we're going to let them talk to this one also and see who they put up. But thank you so much for your interest and all that you do in the community.
Thank you.
Listen, that's another thing. Thursday night, of course, I got a bunch of grand youngins, and they were in a musical thing at Christian school. I bet there were 450, 500 people there. It was amazing. It really was amazing. So, a lot of good things happening in the building. All right, the last thing, Christmas bonus, and initially I was going to kind of take this into executive session, but I've talked to everybody, and everybody's kind of in agreement that we're in a decent place, and this comes out of like 4 or 5 different funds, so everybody's in agreement, and I'll put it to vote of doing what we did last year, $500 a piece across the board. Can I get that?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right. Johnny, council member report.
Yeah, you spoke about the football team.
I'm sorry, when was I supposed to bring up this demolition thing?
That was just for information, so they just wanted me to pass it out.
Pass it out, okay. Estimates on the building downtown was $29,776, so I just wanted to make sure, we don't have to do a motion or anything like that, okay? I'm sorry, go ahead.
You talked about the football team. I want to recognize a teacher that does the chorus in middle school. Just left a concert, and this man, I don't know him personally, but his name is Mr. Joshua Fleetwood. He works with the kids that don't have much of nothing, and he shows his passion and his energy. And I just want, if I could have told him tonight, how I was just so ecstatic of how he got the kids to relate to him and do a good job at that concert. And I think we need to recognize more, like you did with the football team, with the chorus, and in the schools around us, to let them know that we see what's going on and we appreciate what the teachers do. It's been a tough year and a half. I also want to talk about I-73. 2 or 3 months ago, this council voted that we didn't want I-73.
We basically said we don't want I-73 if it doesn't have an intersection on 95.
Right, yeah, we did. And I'll get the same thing. The news reporters are wanting to speak to us. I just want to let it know on record where I stand, why I stand this way, is because I feel like if it does happen, I won't see it in my lifetime. But I just know how detrimental it would be to the city of Dillon. And I would like to see us pressuring our legislators to widen Highway number 9. So all that influx of traffic going to the beach would come through our city and our town. And that would enhance what the DCA has been pushing for the last couple of years. So, I know we focus our attention on the city of Dillon, but let's also let them know that we don't want I-73, we'd like to have Highway number 9 wide. And I believe we can get that done and see that in our lifetime. So that's where I stand. I also want to talk about the city employees on how well of a job you've done during the pandemic. And I just hope we keep up the good work. I know we got a lot of turnover. And this council here is working together on trying to keep the morale and, doing everything we can to keep our workers. So with that being said, I just want to wish them a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. That's all I got, Dr. Walker.
Thank you, Johnny.
I'm sorry for being late now. I just want to tell the city brother that we appreciate what they do. Every time we get help, we just want to know. All right.
All right.
Just for information purpose, the city's gonna be closed what, most of the days, so the public may know Christmas Eve and the Monday and Tuesday afterwards,
That's correct.
and then New Year's Eve,
31st.
31st. So it'd be Friday, Christmas Eve, Monday, and Tuesday after Christmas, and then New Year's
Come to
Eve.
work, we got it.
That's
good.
Trash will be on a normal schedule.
Okay, so trash will be on normal, and just to back up what they said, we appreciate all our city employees, thankful to represent the citizens of Dillon. As a whole, I think this council really tries to see where each other's coming from. We may not always agree, but if we can walk away knowing what we disagreed on and possibly why we disagree, I think is the biggest thing we try to do. And but appreciate everybody. So Merry Christmas.
Tim?
I want to say that I wish we could get away with we having to vote on the bonuses for the members. I would love to see us put that in stone instead of having to go through it every year about do we want to give them the bonus or should we give them the bonus? They deserve the bonus because I can call Bert, Keith is out the other night, he was on a fire call at 3-something, 4-something in the morning. Those guys always doing their deal, and we had an incident before at the park. I called David. They always answer the telephone. Marty's the same way. Benny's the same way too. So I would love for us to put that in our next year's budget, but we won't have to come here and say we want to give y'all something. It should be in the records that y'all are getting something. I went to the tree lighting with Dr. Wallace. It was real good. First time I've been down there. I've heard about the tree lighting, but never went down there. Downtown development, went to their thing at Twin Lakes. I loved it. It was good. It was loud, but it was good. Loud, but it was good. And to top it off, the Historical Society had something Saturday night. If y'all didn't make it to that, y'all missed a good show. It was a real good show. Everybody enjoyed it. Everybody enjoyed it. And I would love to see that band come down the main street. I mean, it was a real good show. That's all I had. Y'all have a great
Was the event sold out?
Huh?
Was the event sold out Friday night? I was there.
It was the row I was sitting on. It was everybody the same. It was sold. That my row was sold out. But it was a real nice crowd. Real good crowd. Real good crowd. I'm going to another one too. I don't know which one of the biggest is going to be the circus act, but I don't know. But that's it for me.
Thank you.
One more thing, Dr. Wallace.
Yes, sir.
We talked about before the trash can. How the leader stay there. I had a couple of calls asking me, is there anything we can do to get that leader to come back out of the trash can? And we said about that.
The problem is the old style cans, they're really not designed for that truck. And so some of the cans, they're so old, they get their little flimsy, so when that truck grabs them, they twist them a little bit, so the can it's hard to get it to come back down. And the newer style cans are designed more to flat, the can flattens the lid. So we're trying to, we're buying cans, so often trying to eventually replace them all. It's just a growing process.
That's all we got.
Anything else come before the council? Thank y'all so much. Have a Merry Christmas. And I get a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion.
Second. All in favor?